Hello everyone, my name is Suraj Narvade and welcome to my channel Suraj in Cloud. In previous episodes, we have seen what are the benefits of managing Kubernetes resources using Terraform, and we also saw how we can leverage Terraform Kubernetes provider to do so. Now, once you know the benefits, once you know how to do it, the next challenge is getting existing Kubernetes resource in the Terraform. That means rewriting the Kubernetes YAML that you already have in the Terraform HCL language, right? Now, I have been through this and it's a tedious process and it takes time, but fortunately, there is a open source project which can help us to do exactly the same thing. So without any further delay, let's get started. The project name is K2TF. Again, the description says Kubernetes YAML to Terraform HCL converter. Exactly what we want because we don't want to waste time in rewriting all those things, right? Before we get started, I would highly encourage to star the repo, which shows your support to the project and the author. Now, this project is, as we can see, written in Golang, so pretty easy to install because there will be a binary for it, which you can download from the release page. Or if you are on a Mac, you can simply do brew install K2TF and it will install K2TF for you. And there are a couple of usage command which we will see in the demo. I have made couple of scenarios for the same and we'll go one by one. Okay. One more thing to notice, you can like build from source as well. Okay. Now these are couple of scenarios which I selected for our demo. First, let's see if I have K2TF install. Okay, I do have K2TF install. Okay, 0.7, and I think that's the latest version. Okay, so the first scenario that we are going to see is pod YAML, and what that means is you have a file which has only one resource. Okay, now let's copy this command and paste it in our terminal. And now if we look at the pod.tf, it has converted our, oh, okay, I wanted to see scenario 1 pod.yaml, and here is our pod.tf. It has converted our YAML pod definition to the Terraform Kubernetes pod definition. Isn't it cool? So command I ran was k2tf -f. -f is your source file and -o is your pod.tf. Now if I don't give -o, it will just print the output on the terminal, right? That was the scenario 1, which is very basic, one resource, and k2tf will convert into the Terraform, right? Cool. Let's look at second scenario. Now I'll first copy the command for the same. If we look at second scenario, now what I have done is I have taken a pod definition and one more resource which is service. Now they are not related, but for example purposes I have taken two examples. Now let's run this command okay. Now if we look at manifest.tf file, you will see it has generated a pod definition as well as a service definition. And what does that mean is you can pass multiple resources in a single file as well, and it will seamlessly convert those files and give us a Terraform output. Very nice. Now next interesting thing I would like to show is, now if you don't have these resources in a single file, you have a directory which has a multiple file. For example, I have this directory called scenario 3, which has a individual file for pod spec and a service spec, right? Now, in this case, with this hyphen f flag, we can straight away pass the directory name and it will give us the output. As you can see, we simply pass the directory name. It fetched all the files inside that directory, got all those YAML manifest and convert them to the equivalent Terraform. Right now, again, with the help of hyphen o flag, you can output this into the sorry into the a file. Okay, now if we look at scenario 3.tf, you will see the output that we just generated, right? Pretty cool, right? So that was our third scenario where we pass the the whole directory which has multiple resource file in it. Okay, now the fourth scenario, now we don't have any files. Now the fourth scenario is pretty interesting, where what we are going to do is, let's say we have some resource already present on the cluster and we want Terraform resource for that cluster. Now in this case, what we will do is we will get YAML from the uh, YAML of the resource straight from the cluster with the help of kubectl command. Very basic. We just pass hyphen o YAML flag, and then what we will do is we'll add pipe and k2tf. Okay, let's first run this command and then I'll explain what's happening here. Okay, uh, before we do that, I want to show that I already have a deployment called my deployment present on the cluster. Okay, now let's run this command again, kubectl get deployment, my deployment hyphen o YAML pipe just k2tf. Okay, and what it does, what it did is it fetched the YAML for my deployment and converted it to Terraform equivalent deployment, right? And if you notice, it also removed the unnecessary bits which are like status field and the additional metadata. It removed all that thing and just added what is required, right? Now if you see here for the k2tf, I haven't added any hyphen f flag or a hyphen o flag, right? Now technically I can add a hyphen o flag as well, and it will output that resource into the file. But what about hyphen f flag? Why it worked? Now, if you look at the k2tf flags and the default value of hyphen f, which is hyphen, and what does that mean is it is equivalent of hyphen f and hyphen. And in case you don't know what does that mean is that passing hyphen as an input means take input from standard input, right? And in this pipe command, it is giving a YAML output, which is std out, is feeded to the next command, right? Now that means we can fetch a resource from a cluster and convert it into the Terraform, right? Now what we can do other things is like we can fetch multiple resources as well. Now for example, I had two deployments. I'm taking some sort of backup as I want to manage things via Terraform. I have this two deployment. What I'm going to do is simply do hyphen no YAML and pass it to k2tf. And now if you see, for simplicity, I will output this file. Okay, I will say demo5.tf. Okay, and we will view this in the VS Code. Now if you see, It created my deployment and also added my deployment 1, which was my another deployment. Now if you see, it is very smartly named the resource with an underscore, like following the standard Terraform practices, which I find pretty cool, right? And just one last thing I want to show is not just not just deployments as in the multiple resources of same type, but you can add various types as well. For example, I have this deployment and service, right? And if I do YAML and pass it to K2TF, I will call it as demo6.tf. Whoa. Okay, let's look at the demo 6 now, and magic. It added the my deployment. Okay, what I can do is I will minimize this to show you all the resource one by one. It added my deployment, which was it added my deployment 1, which was my second deployment. It added my whatever the service was available. Now because this is default namespace, there will be a Kubernetes service and the service for my deployment, right? That's pretty cool. So with the help of this K2TF tool, you can do many interesting things to simplify your migration process, or if you have any existing YAML, to convert those to the Terraform HCL and manage it, right? Now, whatever we have covered, have also wrote a blog post for the same, which if you prefer this thing in the text format, uh, I will put the link in the description, and you can check out the blog as well. So that was more about the K2TF, which helps you to convert your YAMLs to the Terraform HCL. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as well. And in upcoming videos in this particular playlist, we'll add more interesting and interesting things around Kubernetes using Terraform. Till then, take care. Goodbye.